Hello. I thought there's the link. Hello, Anthony. Sorry, I didn't. I went live and I was messaging somebody. Um, well, since 2 days ago was Stephen King's birthday, I thought I'd talk about some of my favorite movies. If anyone would like to talk about theirs, and yes, every movie that's in the description are movies that I like. And there are movies that are I've seen that are not on there. But if people want to talk about the movies that I don't, it's fine. I know enough about them to talk about them. But, um, I grew up on Stephen King. I read his books. I started when I was a teenager. Everybody seems to think that Children of Corn is my favorite Stephen King adaptation, and I like it. It's my favorite series. It's not my favorite Stephen King movie. Um, The Stand is both of them, and we're gonna get into that. There are things about the original that I don't like, and there's things about the remake that I don't like. But if they had the two merge together and have certain actors and certain things in the original and mix it with the remake, I'd definitely be happier with it. They're even in post production doing another stand movie, and it's going to be coming to the big screen. We'll see. Um, they don't even have anyone signed on to do the movie, just the director. So you know how that goes. Uh, like a lot of people, the first movie I ever seen that was Stephen King is Carrie. Hello, Charlotte. And I still love Terry. It's relatively good, even though the book is totally different. I still like the movie. I like the 2002 remake as well. It was made for TV. Um, a lot of Stephen King's works have been made for television, and people snub that. But a lot of people are like put their nose up to The Stand because it was a miniseries. But I got news for you: the 2020 movie is a miniseries. It just went straight to a digital company. In a movie. Would you like to talk about Stephen King, Charlotte? I'd love to hear what you think about his bodies of work and some of the movies that is his. He actually did, and he wrote the screenplay for and stuff like that. Not everything though. He does get royalty for every time you make a movie about that he names associated with. And some of the movies that are good example, I just talked about Children of the Corn. Them movies, the original one was based loosely on a short story, and the remake was two, and then the 2020 one it was loosely based. But the sequels that go above it are not. The only thing that's a actual sequel to any of his stories was Dar- Doctor Sleep. The rest of them are things that were just created. Like Pet Cemetery to that was not a book he wrote. I think that's the only one besides Children of Corn. Oh, sometimes they come back. There's three of them. There was only one story to that. Um, let's see. Is there any others? No. Now he did write more things. He wrote a lot of books to Dark Tower, but there's only one movie to that. I didn't like the Dark Tower. It wasn't a bad movie. It just the action was good in it, but it wasn't all there. It should have been a mini series. It should have been a TV series and made into the thing. It's not one movie lumping everything together and jumbling it all up. Oh, another movie that did a sequel to it that's not his story was Firestarter. There's a lot of movies that he did that people don't know about, and that's a big reason why I want to talk about this. And sometimes some of the stuff that his, I don't think people know is his body of work. A lot of people that watch me know this, but some may not. A great movie that was his is Stand by Me. The book was in short stories, uh, children's garden, but it was unlike his first book. You could take the stories that he put into short story form and make into a book because they were big enough that other people have made into books. But he put it in short story form. Um, he's known for writing large ass stuff and everything. I mean, the body is like 400 pages, but he stuck it into a short story form. And let's face it, there's a lot of books that are made that are shorter than that, and they get a standalone book. um, Another story that he wrote, and it's got more words to it and everything. I just can't remember the name of the book, but yeah, the movie's called The Shawshank Redemption. Um, Bruce something in The Shawshank Redemption. This is a movie that most people know is his work, but they say it's a lot different than most of his stories. Is The Green Mile. But let's go into some of the movies that are his horror movies that people don't know about and talk about them. I already said Carrie, which is one of his biggest, and then Pet Cemetery, and pretty much everybody's heard of The Stand, whether they watched it or not. Um, it it's one of his and biggest stories that people actually watch. I mean, people will watch it even though they don't like long stories. They will watch that movie because it's so good and everything. A lot of people know about Christine. Um, it being Stephen King and a John Carpenter film. Most people know about that one. Um, a lot of people don't ever talk about this one, and it's a short one too. Is Cujo. I know diehard fans of horror know about Cujo, but a lot of people don't talk about that one. Maybe people don't want to watch Cujo or they don't know about it, but it has Dee Wallace in it, and this is in her heyday, and like when she was doing The Howling and E.T., she did Cujo. Um, I'm sure there's other movies that she did back then, but them are the ones I know. Um, let's see. Trying to think of movies that are not so long to start out with and then going into it more. I can't really think of any other. Um, Because I said Pet Cemetery, I said Cujo, I said oh Silver Bullet, which is his book is called The Cycle of the Werewolf. Um, I know I forgot one. Um, Another one is Night Shift, and his short story that I was talking about that was has Children of the Corn, and actually the name of the book is called Night Shift. Um, and that's that short story. It's a short story. It's not very long, and they really made it into a movie that wasn't there. I mean, there wasn't really any people names or anything like that. Just somebody gets hired by the boss man to after the rats attack one, and then they go after. But I kind of like the movie more than I do the short story. If I'm being honest, um, I would have liked it to have been more fleshed out in the storyline, but it wasn't. It's fleshed out. It's only 12 pages long. The story. So I should have said I'm going to be talking about the books too. Not all of them, because some of the movies that I'm going to talk about, I've not read the book. And I don't really know any background on them. But a lot of them I do. Um, give you a little history of both. I don't think people realize that Tales from the Dark Side, the TV show, was the script was written by Stephen King, and he actually wrote the book. And the movie was loosely based on both. Um, Now that I can't tell you about the book. That's all the information I have on that. But yeah, he wants a screenplay for it, and but that was a TV show. It wasn't the made for TV film. And yeah, it was made for TV. Um, no, another movie that's not too long that's his is Night Flyer. The book was pretty long, and it was like 700 pages, and they cut out a lot from the story and the made for TV film. All the rest of his stories, they were pretty long, and they stayed true. The ones that are made for television. But Night Flyer didn't do that, um, like the rest of them. But there was a reason for that. They couldn't find anyone that conveyed the storyline of what they needed to get across in the, the TV film from the book that felt right. So they cut out one of the characters from the story. Um, Now we're going to get into his longer ones that are made for TV films besides and it. Um, there is Salem's Lot, which they made in 1979, but they remade it in 2004, and then they remade it again this year. Um, I can't really tell you about the one that they made this year, but I have the one from 1979 and the remake. I think they did a sequel to the original Salem Plot, the one from 1979. I've never seen it. Um, no, I know they did. It's called Return to Salem Plot. Um, but I've never seen it. I can't find it for a price I'm willing to pay, and you can't find it digital. So I haven't watched it. Um, I'd be willing to pay if it was a good price, but it's $30 for a movie that nobody's ever heard of. And a lot of people that have seen it says it's not all that great of a movie. So I'm not paying $30 for it. But me being somebody that likes Stephen King stories, even if they're loosely based, and me liking vampires, I really wanted to see it. But the next one, oh, this is a order movie, but it's made for TV, and I don't think people realize this. Back when it came out, it was made for television, and it looked so great, and that's what people didn't realize. It is Sleepwalker. I don't know why I'm not talking about that movie. But they really went out on a limb, trying to figure out how to set it and everything. The guy that did that was it was the first movie that he did for Stephen King, but then he did a lot of movies that are Stephen King movies. He did The Stand. He did The Shining. Um, he did something else. I can't remember. Um, Nick Garrett. But next one that he did a Stephen King film that's made for TV and it was short. I forgot about this too. It's The Dark Half. Now this wasn't made for television, but it just went right out my head. Arguably, it's one of the best movies, adaptation of Stephen King's work, and it's almost entirely true to the storyline of the book, and that was Misery. Um, let's go into the next one. Road Red. That was the one that I couldn't think of. That Mick did. Um, one of my favorites. It's long as hell, but it's so good, and I recommend people to watch it. I mean, if you have a hard time watching movies that are really long, cut it in half, cut it in four. I mean, that's what they did with these movies. I mean, they were miniseries. They cut them into about an hour long thing for each night that they had it on. So me, I don't do that. I watch the whole thing in its entirety, and I'm a little obsessive that way. Um, but yeah, next one is a little bit longer than that one is Storm of the Century. Little reference here. Um, the guy that goes to, if you know this movie, if you've seen it, the guy that goes to the town and the story and everything, he he's part of the clan. He's part of the people that are like Rose the Hat from Doctor Sleep. Um, Now, I don't think of any. I don't think people really realize that, but that is what he is. He they don't really connect. But the reason I know it is because I've read both of the books, and okay. The next one I'm going to talk about is Haven. Now, this is not a movie. This is a TV show, and it was on for quite a while. And the story of Haven comes from the story of the Colorado kid. It's a very interesting book, and It's another book like The Dark Tower because there's more than one of them. Another book that's done like that is Green Mile. People don't really realize this because you can go to the store and you can get a really big, thick one. But Stephen King made 8 short stories of Green Mile and made it into one big one later on. And I have both. I have the big one and I have the small ones. Well, I don't have the books. I have their own ta- cassette tape, but they're audio books on cassette tape. Um, I'm trying to see if I'm missing any thing else besides the last one that I'm thinking about. Nope. I think I've covered them all. The last one is Kingdom Hospital. Um, he did not write a book. He wrote a screenplay. I wish you would make a book out of the stories of this. I really would love to have a copy of a book style form of Kingdom Hospital. But it would be as long as The Stand if he did that, and I don't know that he would write that much. Um, there's some stuff about the story that wasn't in the TV thing that I'd really like to get clarified on, and of course, a lot of people will be like, "Leave it alone. We don't want to dissect," but I do, and I figured if he wrote a book that he would put that stuff in there instead of doing it the way he did it in the storyline. Because I know that he really goes into the characters when he actually writes a book more so than he does in when he does screenplays. Oh, there is another one I forgot about. I knew it. Maximum Overdrive. A lot of people don't like that movie, and he even says that it was the worst thing he ever did. But I quite enjoy that movie. Um, I I'm sure that I've missed something that of the movies. Oh crap! Yeah, I did. Cat Eyes. That's another great one. That's not that long. Even though it's an anthology and everything, it's still not done. That reminds me of another story that's an anthology. Well, there's 3 of them. I lump these all in together. I mean, him and George A. Romero did the first one, and they credit him for the second one, and I'm credited in the third one too. Now, people like the first two, but most people don't like the third one, but I do, and that is Creepshow. Um, I'm a weirdo. You can even call me a creep. Uh, kind of wish that there were people here. This wouldn't be going by so fast. Which it's been 30 minutes, but I have better time when I am talking to people and everything, and nobody's around. Ow. And I'm trying to. Let me be honest. I thought if I got on here, it would distract me. I mean, I'm kind of in pain, and more so than I usually am with this stupid damn arm, and I thought being distracted would help me, and this isn't distracting me. Oh, another one, and most people, I remember two more. Most people don't really know this or don't like it. Riding the bullet, but I quite enjoy it. And the other one that I remember, I know a few people have heard of this, and most people haven't, and if they have, they don't talk about it. Stephen King's Descendant. Um, I recommend it. It's a long ass movie, but it's got Ron Perlman in it. First thing I ever seen him in, actually. Even I forgot about it, and I put it on my damn thing of movies that I was going to talk about, and it reminds me of another movie that I forgot about. I'd love to talk about something, but I don't want to talk to the wind about these movies and everything. I want to talk to people about them and see what they know about. Next one is the Golden Years, and if you've ever seen Cocoon, The Return of Cocoon, or no, it ain't right. My favorite Martian or The Stand. The professor in The Stand and the Martian in My Favorite Martian. He played. He was one of the leads in the Golden Years. I think I was right. And Cocoon. He was in Cocoon in The Return. Cocoon. And his wife, Jessica Tandy, was in that in Cocoon with him, and so she was also in the Golden Years with him. Um, it's a really good movie about the Fountain of Youth, kind of, so to speak. And that reminds me of Monkey Shines. And people don't realize that everybody knows that it's Jose Romero movie, but Stephen King wrote the story for it, which let's be honest, he also wrote Pet Cemetery as kind of an allegory for the same thing as the monkey paws. Just did it a little differently. He said he wrote it. He didn't write the book. That story is very old, older than him. But he wrote the story for the movie. I keep seeing showing people watching me and everything. Come on, don't be shy. It says let's talk Stephen King. So let's talk. Not me talk. Uh, I um I like hearing y'all's comments and everything. Come on. I'll show you Jack if you start talking. Or if it's certain people, I'll not show you Jack if you start talking. I'm really having a hard time thinking about any of the rest of the movie. I feel like I'm still not saying all of them. I mean, there's so many out there, and the only ones I can think of now are the ones I don't like. Um, and not sure I want to talk about them unless someone else wants me to talk about them and give my feedback and talk about and I can do that. I mean, I've talked about The Shining before. I will say one thing about it that it's got going for it. I really like Jack Nicholson's performance in the movie. But me being a diehard Stephen King fan, I don't really like it, especially the female. Did the people like Stephen King's movies? I mean, they call him the horror king of this generation. One of the reasons that I'm not dwelling on some of these movies is because I thought I talk about the ones nobody's heard of and the ones that I think are worth mentioning, or talking about the ones that everybody loves, and not talking about Children of the Corn because I know everybody hates them movies, even though they haven't seen most of them. It kind of irks me that It really does. Um, I'm gonna give y'all a little more time to talk to me about Stephen King. There we go. Oh, by the time I finish this cigarette, I'm calling it a quit. Because I'll probably start crying in a few minutes if I don't leave. I mean, I'm going to anyway, but I'm not doing it on here. And no, I'm not crying because I don't have people coming on here. I just the pain is way too much for me, and I just can't stand it. I really can't. Um, not to mention the fact that in about 13 minutes, when the people that I follow will be coming on anyway, so maybe they will be able to help me get out of this dang pain I'm in. And I've seemed to find that I do better and my pain goes away when I don't think about it and hanging out with people talking about stuff. And so, yeah, I don't know why I'm hurting more today than anything, but oh, since I can't think about it, Stephen King stuff and everything, place I go to, New Day, I was talking to one of the people that works there, and she was telling me about not this Friday, but next Friday, because every Friday, every other Friday they do. We have socials that we go outside, and they're actually going to go to Spirit Halloween, and I'm excited to go there. I'm gonna get me some stuff when I'm there, and if y'all are interested, well, not if. I think I might do a video showing what I get. Um, I but yeah, I'm gonna get off of here and go. It's been 50 minutes and everything. And, Remember, be the person you're meant to be, not the one that everybody expects you to be. Uh, Bye. Good night, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are.